Leonard, what did you think when I told you to watch Arcane? Did you know it was a video game adaptation? What were your expectations?
I didn't have an expectation, but I really liked it. You told me it's a really great series, and I think every review found it great, so I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. And so I watched the first 3 episodes, then didn't watch it for a very long time, and at a certain point I was like, oh yeah, I need to finish this. Didn't like the ending that much, but that's just because it's an open ending. I don't like open ending.
And you're not someone that watches a lot of series, so I guess that calculate that in there as well.
Yeah, and it's just great voice acting. The style in the beginning, I didn't really feel it, but it grew on me.
Yeah, it's very different also because it's 2D and 3D combined, and that's such a thing that you don't see usually, and you don't exactly know what you think of in the beginning, but it grows on you, I feel.
Yeah, it's just this sort of water paint.
Yeah, it kind of has some of the aquarelle backgrounds and those kind of things as well. I like that you just mentioned that you first saw the first 3 episodes, and I love that it's designed and it was even released in a way that you get to see 3 episodes, you have to wait a week, you get to see 3 episodes, you get to wait a week, and then you see the final arc. Again, spoilers, we're going to go a little bit into what the show is about, so if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you watch it. The 2 sisters, they're in a gang and they're in Zan, the lower class, working class world, and they try to do a heist in Piltover. They try to steal something from a scientist. And this goes horribly wrong. Whole of Zan is being run over by police, and these sisters get separated. One goes under a crime boss and the other one goes to jail. That's Act 1. It's in itself, I think, already a great story. I liked how they really marked it as, hey, this is one part of their journey. And the second act is them reuniting again. And then the third act is the confrontation between them and what you didn't like. The teaser to season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I like being able to watch it that way.
But I had to get back into the story because I initially thought the pink-haired girl, Vi, she was going to be the bad guy. And I needed an episode or 2 to piece the story back together.
Yeah.
But I don't really have an opinion about releasing it 333.
Yeah. What I thought was brilliant about it is that it plays into how we consume content or stories. And I like that it really clearly defined itself as an Act 1, Act 2, and an Act 3. They did a perfect setup in the first act. For me, Act 2 was a little bit of a question of where is this going? And you slowly see pieces moving and getting in place to get ready for Act 3, where there's going to be a big conflict. I thought that this characters going against each other because of who they are, and Jinx, for instance, or Powder, having to choose which side of her she adopts from this moment on. I thought it was a little bit funny that like everyone that was evil is basically ugly and everyone that is beautifully designed is basically quote-unquote good.
One thing in particular I really enjoyed and found quite realistic is the Jinx transformation. People that end up in the criminal circuit, they are these very broken, malleable people. And I really enjoyed that. The crime lord managed to form the girl to his liking. And it's kind of like Game of Thrones, where there's people aren't good, people aren't evil. It's just
100%. It's also not just power hungry and collapsing under that, which is a trope that has been done so many times. It's protecting their own people, which I like a lot.
Yeah. You don't often see that. Yeah, that's the same in this series. I have usually more warm feelings towards the bad side, because I think that's the more honest side.
I liked how he as well, he had an idea of what was good for Zan, and he just didn't believe Piltover could ever do well, and I think it's how much do you look at the harm that is done to the people below you. Society just not kind of realizing what's happening or not wanting to see it or being blind to it. Talking about the power struggle of the higher seats. The end, of course, spoiler warning, the rocket that goes in and then wondering, does anyone survive? What is their reaction going to be? I like that ending, by the way. I thought it was, for her, this kind of crowning moment that I thought was done far better than, for instance, an Anakin Skywalker transforming into Darth Vader. I thought Jinx was very traumatized and there were still moments where she really tried to do well, but it kept going wrong. And at some point she was like, well, if you want me to become the villain, I will be your villain.
That's how I know a series is good, because I rooted for Jinx. The whole series I had hoped she might turn to the good side and reunite with her sister, and that's why I didn't like the ending. She fired the rocket and I was like, alright, there's no point of return. It takes balls to make such a decision. If they, in season 2 or season 10 or I don't know, at some point create a situation where, oh well, yeah, she fired a rocket, it's not a big deal. Then,
Like
then the
Backbone.
whole, yeah, but then yeah, that's a point I would not be forgiving of.
No, and the fact that she chose to be the bad guy, I think that then, yeah, stick with that.
She should never go back to powder.
What I could imagine, look, if you can in a season explain why someone became that, then I can imagine that in a few more seasons, there can be some healing that could be done or some resolution or anything bittersweet in that. I do want warmth between Vi and Jinx. And this again as well, like those characters just working so well together, and even Vi and Caitlyn.
You know what your problem is?
Please, tell me.
You expect everyone to give you what you want. If you really want people to talk to you, you have to let them think you have what they want.
And what do I have?
You're hot, Cupcake. So what'll it be, man or woman?
And the tension is clearly there. And I like these dynamics. Even when Jace and Vi were fighting for like a minute, even though that was not the strongest part of the series, I thought that collaborations there, they happen for a smart reason. They want to solve something and then they split ways again because they're like, no, I don't want my weapons to be used like that. And she's like, oh, so you don't want to change things. And then he's like, no, I'm changing it my way. And even the boat with Victor and him not being able to follow, and then through the transformation being able to follow, man, there's a lot to love.
Yeah, I like how everybody has their own, well, let's call it a political view, and everybody's right and everybody's wrong about it.
Yeah.
And that's worked out really well.
One thing that I would want to say about it before I think that this is turning into an Arcane fanboy podcast, I like the idea of beginning with two people that have betrayed each other at some point. Silco, I believe, and the kind of father, quote unquote, for Vi and Powder.
I trusted you. And you betrayed me.
What I did to you, I've never forgiven myself. You are my brother.
And then later it's like two sisters.
Powder, it's okay. Stop calling me that. It's Jinx now. Powder fell down a well.
You're not a Jinx. God, I never should have.
Stop talking to me like I'm a child. Was that why you came? For this stupid stone?
No, I don't even know what that is.
You're a class act, sister.
I'm here for you. Only you. You can fire that thing if you want, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to abandon you again.
Only focusing on these two as the main backbone and then having side characters that complement them, that itself was a very smart thing to do character arc-wise. All the setups that happen in the first arc, all these things are lined up pretty well and they're not too ambitious with how much they're trying to work out. And that just, as a writer, yeah.
Take note, writers. And I'm talking to myself as well.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, so that was Arcane.